everyone. As we all know, spooky season is here. It has finally arrived. My favorite-ish time of the year, I suppose. But in this video, I want to talk about some of the games that I'm going to be playing during this month, and hopefully I can finish most of them, if not all of them. I also do have a little bit of honorable mentions that I'd like to talk about before we get started. So, to get those out of the way quickly, the first one is Until Dawn. I have actually not played the first Until Dawn, and Sony actually just remastered it for PlayStation 5, and I picked it up. So that is on my list. I've yet to play Alan Wake 2. I was waiting on the physical, and the physical is coming later this month. So that is another one that I might dive into. Also, the Castlevania collection that just released. Specifically the DS games. Now those I have played, but last year I played through Rondo of Blood and a little bit of Symphony of the Night again, and then the Advanced Collection, which I've played as well. So those are always great games to get into around this time, and I might dabble in those. So if I have time, I will definitely get to those, but these games that we're going to be talking about in this video are the ones that I will primarily be playing this month. Hopefully finishing, maybe even platinuming one, hopefully, depending on how long it takes, because I know there's a lot of endings to it. But with all that out of the way, let's get into the list. Game number one, we have the Medieval remake for PS4. This is a game that I'm definitely familiar with. I remember when it was announced and came out in 2018, I believe. And it was around $40. It was definitely something I wanted to pick up, but just never got around to it. Finally did, and I think it's a great way to kind of ease yourself into that spooky setting. It's comical, it's funny. It's definitely a PS1 game at its core, which is fine. It's been really enjoyable. The visuals are really nice. So I've been enjoying it so far. I'm a little, I want to say maybe like 30% done with the game. The combat's fun. The character designs are really nice. And I know this is like a legacy title from PlayStation's era, especially with the PlayStation 1. So I'm excited to finally play through this remake and get it finished and start from there. And I think it's, like I said, a great entryway into the rest of the games that I'm going to be playing for this month. Now, the next games I actually already have some history with, and unfortunately I lost my save data for both of them, which sucks, but it's okay. I find them fun, even though the first one is a little controversial, and that is Resident Evil 6. I like Resident Evil 6. Is it a good Resident Evil game? No. It kind of reminds me of DMC. Was it a good Devil May Cry game? No. Is it a good hack and slash game? Yes. Is it a good character action game? Yes. Was it a good Devil May Cry game? No. Resident Evil 6 kind of falls in that same category. It's definitely longer because you have multiple campaigns. And I have to start from the beginning, unfortunately, because like I said, I lost my save data. But I like it. It's stylish. It's fun. It's a good action game, sprinkled in with a little bit of survival horror and zombies in there. Is it Resident Evil? No. Does it have the name Resident Evil? Yes. Does it feel like Resident Evil? Yes and no. But I like it. You know what? It's stylish. It's fun. The quick time events, I think, are cheesy but cool at the same time. I think it's better than 5, personally. I really did not like 5 that much. But I am definitely playing through this again, the PS4 remaster. And I had a great time when I initially played it. It's just a fun game for me. I like it. So, to kind of stay within that theme of Resident Evil, I'm jumping back into the RE1 remake. I've had a rocky history with this game. I have started this game so many times, and for whatever reason, I've just put it down. And this spooky month, I'm finally going to finish it. I think I started it on Switch. I want to say I've started it on Xbox. I want to say I've started it on my PS4 before. I could be wrong, but I'm finally going to finish it. I think this is one of the best remakes of all time. It holds up incredibly well. Even today, it still looks really, really good. And I like that they kept the tank controls. It still feels very similar to the original Resident Evil. Obviously, it's just modern, but it's great. It's definitely like a really, really, really good remake. And everyone knows this, right? The Resident Evil 1 remake is just phenomenal. If I have time, I might play 0, but I'm not too sure. I really just want to finish Resident Evil 1 for the most part. Now, this next one is going to be the one that I'm probably going to talk about the longest because I was really excited for it and I have been enjoying it so much. And that game is Silent Hill 2 Remake. This game is incredible. Bloober Team knocked it out of the park, and I know we were all thinking the same thing. Oh my gosh, how is this going to turn out with Bloober Team working on it with what we've experienced in the past from them? But I've put close to about 6 hours in the game, and it's great. The atmosphere is immaculate. The sound design is so unsettling. It is a terrifying game. It is so freaking, like, just, oh my gosh, it just gives you the chills playing it. Combat is also really good. It's kind of weird because the combat kind of reminds me of the Callisto Protocol, that and like how you have to kind of dodge. Like, you definitely need to, like, oh, and of course, you know, in survival horror games you can just run and decide to not even deal with them. I tend to not do that. Sometimes I do if I'm in a dire situation and I like have to, but for the most part I like to actually take on the enemies. But yeah, you definitely need to like bob and weave, dodge, know when to hit, know when to run. The enemy, oh my gosh, the radio sounds when you hear the enemies, the sound design, like, it's so unsettling. It is so unsettling 100% of the time. There's not any moment in the game where I'm not like on the edge of my seat, like, oh my gosh, what is going to happen? What's going on? Like, you know, that feeling of just not being able to relax. Like, it is that good. Atmosphere, tone, setting, graphics look phenomenal. The game looks beautiful. Sound is also really good too. The soundtrack was remastered. Great visuals, great sound design. All around, like, if I could say one thing about this video, go pick up that game and play it for this month. It is that good. Now, the other two are on a little bit of a lighter note, but I still want to play them and get through them this month because they're fun games. One is actually really interesting that I've been really curious about for a while. The first one is Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. I've actually already played through the original one on the 3DS, specifically Dark Moon. I think it was interesting that they actually went with the Japanese and European name and just took it over to the West as Luigi's Mansion 2. Yeah, like I said, I've already played through the 3DS version. I enjoy the Luigi's Mansion series. I think it's fun, it's charming. Of course, it's like a staple for spooky season, right? Like, you've got to play Luigi's Mansion. I'm not interestingly, I'm not a huge fan of the first one. I thought it was good, but like, I don't think it's that great. I think it's aged okay. 3 is phenomenal, and I think 2 is a good middle ground. 2 is definitely better than 1. 3 was great. Like, I had such a good time with that game. But yeah, gonna take my time, gonna enjoy Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. I think it released at a weird time for me because I was like, oh, that's like perfect for like spooky season. But it came out during the summer. I was like, I'll just have to wait on that. And the last game that I'm hopefully going to finish this spooky season is Emio the Smiling Man Famicom Detective Club. Now, this is a part of the Famicom Detective Club series, which initially started on the Famicom. We actually got 2 games. They weren't released physically in North America, so I didn't pick them up. I might import them and play them at a later date, but essentially it's a visual novel game. But it's like a kind of similar to like Ace Attorney, right? But man, this game really has me intrigued. Like, really has me intrigued. I love the visual style in this game. Like, it is so superb. It's like a 2D, 3D pseudo kind of character model. I love the motion of the characters too and how they move. And it's genuinely scary. Like, it's definitely eerie. It's got a pretty scary tone to it, and it's got some unsettling moments for sure. I like the premise behind it. I played the demo, and interesting thing, what I do at demos is I play demos and I never carry over the save data. I always start fresh when the game comes out. But I played the demo, and then I got the game when it came out, so that I'm really looking forward to finish. Honestly, it's probably second to Silent Hill 2 Remake for me during the spooky season. Like, I'm really interested to see where this go and how it ends, because like the design, the tone, the setting, everything about the game I've enjoyed so far, and I think it's going to be a good one. But that's going to be it for this video in spooky season. Hopefully you guys are able to play some spooky games, or some lighthearted spooky games, or some terrifying games, whatever you're in the mood for this season. Definitely let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching or listening, and I'll see you in the next video.